What's up, everybody? It's Flair, former 1%, and I'm here chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Flair, 1%.
Oh, no. I was pretty fortunate. I didn't have to deal with any. I mean, people always looked at me, gave me dirty looks, and, you can always hear people like mentioning the swastika, but I hadn't had anybody who ever really brought anything to my face or. No.
Have you had anybody in your charter that happened to?
Yeah.
And what happened? What transpired?
One of my guys almost got ran off the road because he was wearing a swastika.
So when they see him, they see it on his back, and they're
run him off the side of the road and keep going
because they don't understand what it is.
All they do is they see the swastika and they, it's understandable for certain people. Like, if you have family members, if you're Jewish, if you have family members that were in the Holocaust and things like, I understand it, but that's not what this is about, man. Like, and they don't understand it.
Yeah, it gets misrepresented.
Absolutely, man. I tell everybody, do some research, man. Do some reading before you come to me with any questions about a swastika.
So, like the Heathens Motorcycle family, they have a vulture standing on a swastika.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They have a black member. And I interviewed him. He explained it all. He's the first African-American member in the whole club.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm like, how did this even happen? And he says it's because of that symbol is how it even transpired, how he even became a member. Because people were like, yo, there's these guys in here and they have swastikas on their back. I think there's going to be a problem. And they went right up to him and they said, I don't know what your friend told you, but that's not what this is about.
Right.
And they all got tight and he ended up becoming a member and he's a member now.
Nice.
So things change,
Absolutely.
What's it like to be the vice president now of this club?
Not easy, man. At the time, I'm 28 years old. 28 years old at the time of a club, that's been around for 60 years. You got guys that have been there for 20 years, 30 years, and they're looking at me like, who the fuck are you? And I'm the vice president, and these, so it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun.
It's a lot of pressure, right?
It was a lot of pressure, and there was a lot of like, it's almost like having to prove yourself almost. But I always felt like I didn't have to prove myself to anybody. Like, I wouldn't be the vice president if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, you worked your way up to it. Yeah. You earned it.
So, and it's like, like, it wasn't like, oh, I just came in and became vice president. No, like, I came in, I prospected, you guys took my center patch, I prospected again, you gave it back, I left this charter, I prospected again upstate, I prospected 3 times as a Ching A Lings.
That's wild.
And I was the sergeant at arms upstate, so it's like I worked my way around to get this position, like.
But they're looking at you like, who are you to tell us what to do?
Dude, I've had to, stop people in their tracks. Whoa, pump your brakes, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck how long you've been here. I'm not that one. Like, I'm not that dude, man. Like, I'm telling you, watch your face, bro.
So was there any drama going on to where people ended up getting into fights? And was it a little different once these other people were out or pushed to the side, the other officer, and because he wasn't the enforcer no more, right?
No. Well, before I transferred back to the Bronx, when I was in the upstate charter, something happened in the Bronx, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do. And it was something that happened that, you know, I'm not gonna repeat, but something that really shouldn't have happened. And I was out. I was out in the club with my boy. It was his birthday, and I get a phone call, and I immediately went to the Bronx to the clubhouse. And when I got there, I asked this dude like, "What happened?" He's explaining to me this, and that, this, and this. And I'm with my sergeant at arms from upstate. We're out in the club, like we're hanging out. So I'm with my sergeant at arms from upstate, and we're like, you know what happened? He starts telling a story, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, you did what? You said what? I'm like, no, there's no way. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, wow. He's like, I didn't want to get the bros into more issues. Long story short, I beat the out of him.
Right, so you end up getting your 5 minutes anyway.
So long story, dude, he says, you know, he says some shit, and he's like, oh, you know, I didn't want to get the bros into more issues. That was his excuse for not handling business. I punch him right in his face, right in his, and I start going to town. And his president is standing right there. His president is sitting right there. I'm with my vice president. There's like 3 other guys in the room from that charter, and I'm going to town. And they pull me off of him, and I look at his president, and I said, "This is not your sergeant at arms. This is not a member. He's not a brother. He's nothing. And I'm not leaving this clubhouse without his colors."
Man.
Sure enough, he left without his colors.
So that was it. He was done.
That was it.
So you got your 5 minutes.
I got my 5 minutes. I did. Thank God.
But the club's probably better without him. Someone like that, you know.
Absolutely. People like him dig graves and then jump in them. They don't dig graves for other people. They dig graves for themselves.
I could understand there's a time when to do things. There's a time when not to. But if you miss this opportunity where it's pretty, you know, you lose face with a lot of things.
Well, no. Honestly, not me. Because you want to know something, bro? Like, that wasn't my situation to handle.
No, it was his.
He should, no. It was the charter. The Bronx charter should have handled that situation before I even got there.
Yeah, with him.
Yeah.
But he should have handled the situation that he had at hand, yeah.
But what I'm saying is the fact that he didn't handle that situation, he should have been handled.
100%.
And the fact that nobody handled him, it put me in a spot where it's like, as a member, as a brother, wearing this cut, if I don't do this right now, I'm going to feel like I didn't do what I had to do. So I did what I had to do.
Maybe, I don't know, what could be the reason? Maybe they didn't want to speak up, or I don't know.
It was just one of those things where, well, one, I can tell you straight up, the president, remember I told you he was stealing, the sergeant was stealing, and I told the president. The reason that the president didn't do nothing about it was because he was splitting the money with him.
It makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
And then when the fight thing happened with you, he's like, I'm not gonna let that.
Exactly. And he wasn't gonna put the sergeant at arms on the spot either, because that's his boy. And that's who he's breaking bread with.
And then when this situation happens, he doesn't want to get rid of him again because he doesn't want to lose out.
Exactly. And me, I was like, yeah, we're not doing this. I'm not standing for this again.
So that's it. He's gone. So what happens after that happens?
So after that, you know, they changed the president. They changed the president, vice president, sergeant at arms, everybody. And then a few months down the line is when, you know, National steps in and they say, you know, this new president is not doing what he's supposed to do. And then that's when they called in for reinforcements, and I ended up back in the Bronx, and everything started getting back to normal.
Now, during this time, is there any major accidents that happen within the club?
Accidents as far as what?
Motorcycle accidents. Are you guys riding in a pack a lot?
Yeah. We used to always ride in a pack. It wasn't many accidents. I mean, guys would go down here and there, but like not anything major really at the time. There wasn't much major going on at the
And were
time.
you guys riding far?
It depends. Like me, I was riding everywhere. Like I rode to Florida by myself
With your patch on?
with my patch on as a prospect. No
Damn.
center, no center patch. I rode
By
to Florida by
yourself?
myself.
Damn.
Yes.
That's a long ride.
Oh yeah, it is. It definitely is. I rode to Florida twice, but I rode by myself as a Ching A Ling, as a prospect.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's so we didn't have many accidents at the time. Guys in the Bronx weren't riding like that. Their lives were spent in the clubhouse. And that's another thing that I didn't like. That's another reason why I didn't want to be there. It's like I don't do nothing. All we gotta do is stay here, do nothing. Like,
Was there a lot of young members, or are you one of the youngest?
when I came in, I was the youngest. When I came in, and then there came one younger dude than me. It was one dude that was younger than me. He came in after me, and he ended up becoming like one of my closest dudes from the club. Um, they were like a handful of us younger guys. I ended up making what is called the baby chings, and that was pretty much like anybody 30 years old and under who was a chingling, because there was only a handful of us.
Yeah.
So that was like the baby chings was a new thing.